The Galactic Empire's dismissal of Earth as primitive was about to become the most colossal misjudgment in interstellar history. In 2045, the Talaxians, leaders of the technologically advanced empire, discovered our blue planet and promptly labeled it as insignificant. Their arrogance blinded them to the sleeping giant they had stumbled upon. On Mars, a Talaxian observation post hummed with activity. Pollux, a high-ranking official, arrived to oversee the human monitoring mission. He scrolled through reports, his four-fingered hand gliding over holographic displays. Earth's reliance on fossil fuels and seemingly sluggish space program reinforced his disdain. With a few taps, he drafted a recommendation to the Empire's ruling council: classify Earth as a protectorate, effectively quarantining humanity from galactic affairs. Meanwhile, deep beneath the Nevada desert, Russell Phillips stood before a gleaming starship. The 35-year-old former NASA engineer's heart raced as he absorbed the magnitude of the moment. For years, a clandestine government agency had been developing this vessel in utmost secrecy. Now, as team leader, Russell bore the weight of humanity's interstellar aspirations on his shoulders. The agency's director, a stern woman with steel-gray hair, briefed Russell on the alien presence. "The Talaxians think we're fumbling in the dark," she said, her voice tinged with determination. "Little do they know, we've been several steps ahead for years." Russell nodded, his mind racing with the implications. The experimental starship before him represented a quantum leap in human technology. Its antimatter containment system, a breakthrough his team had achieved mere months ago, promised to revolutionize space travel. As he ran his hand along the ship's sleek hull, he couldn't help but smile at the thought of the Talaxians' impending shock. Across the globe, similar projects were underway. The United States, China, and Russia had formed an uneasy alliance, pooling resources to accelerate Starship production. Underground facilities buzzed with activity, churning out vessels that would soon comprise Earth's hidden fleet. Russell's team conducted a series of clandestine test flights within the solar system, carefully skirting the alien outpost on Mars. Each successful mission brought humanity closer to its moment of revelation. As Earth's covert space program flourished, tensions simmered between nations vying for control of the new technology. The alliance was fragile, held together by the common goal of establishing humanity as a formidable presence in the galaxy. Project Prometheus, the codename for humanity's first official mission beyond the solar system, was entering its final stages. Russell, now the lead pilot, pored over star charts and mission parameters. Their objective was clear: make contact with other spacefaring civilizations and announce Earth's arrival on the galactic stage. On Mars, Pollux's antennae twitched as his instruments detected unusual energy signatures emanating from Earth. Puzzled, he dispatched a scout ship to investigate. As the vessel approached Earth's orbit, a sight beyond his wildest imagination unfolded. Rising from hidden launch sites across the planet, Earth's Starfleet emerged. Hundreds of ships, their hulls gleaming in the sunlight, ascended into the atmosphere. At their head flew Russell's vessel, its antimatter drive pulsing with barely contained power. The age of human isolation was over. The Galactic Empire's dismissal of Earth as primitive was about to be shattered by the unveiling of humanity's secret Starfleet. As Russell's ship led the armada towards the stars, one thing became abundantly clear: the galaxy would never be the same again. As Russell's ship led the armada towards the stars, the Talaxian scout vessel approached Earth's orbit. Suddenly, the scout's sensors lit up with activity. The pilot's eyes widened as he witnessed a sight beyond comprehension. From hidden launch sites across the planet, Earth's Starfleet emerged. Hundreds of ships, their hulls gleaming with a newly developed stealth coating, rose from concealed underground hangars. The vessels ascended into the atmosphere, their antimatter drives pulsing with scarcely controlled power. Russell's voice crackled over the secure comm channel. "All ships, this is Prometheus. Operation Starlight is go. Maintain formation and prepare for FTL jump on my mark." The Talaxian scout pilot frantically relayed the unfolding scene to Pollux on Mars. "Sir, you won't believe this. The humans. They have a fleet, hundreds of ships, all FTL capable. On Mars, Pollux's antenna twitched violently as he processed the information. He immediately opened a channel to the Galactic Empire's ruling council. Esteemed counselors, we have gravely underestimated the humans. They possess advanced starships in numbers that rival our own. We must reassess our stance immediately. The council chamber erupted in chaos as the news spread. The Supreme Counselor, a wizened Talaxian with deep-set eyes, called for order. This changes everything. Convene an emergency session? We must address this unexpected development. Back on Earth, Russell settled into the command chair of the USS Prometheus. The ship's bridge hummed with activity as the crew prepared for their first interstellar journey. Lieutenant Sarah Chen, the navigation officer, input the coordinates for their destination. Course set for Proxima Centauri, sir, Chen reported. Nova Terra awaits. Russell nodded, his eyes fixed on the console. Engage FTL drive on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark. The Prometheus lurched forward, followed closely by the rest of the fleet. Stars streaked past the view screen as the ships hurtled through space at impossible speeds. Earth rapidly shrank behind them, becoming just another pale blue dot in the vast cosmic ocean. As news of the fleet's departure spread across Earth, reactions varied wildly. In New York, crowds gathered in Times Square, cheering and waving flags as they watched the live feed of the launch. In Beijing, government officials huddled in emergency meetings discussing the implications of this new era of space exploration. At the United Nations headquarters, Secretary General Amina Okafor called an urgent assembly. Distinguished representatives, she began, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Today we stand at the threshold of a new chapter in human history. Our hidden Starfleet has been revealed, and we must now present a unified front to the galactic community. As debates raged in the assembly hall, Admiral Miller Lee prepared for his upcoming diplomatic mission. In his office at the International Space Command Center, he reviewed dossiers on known alien species and practiced his opening statements. Lee's aide entered the room carrying a secure tablet. Admiral, we've received an update from the Prometheus. They've detected unusual energy signatures near Proxima Centauri. Lee frowned, taking the tablet. Similar to our own ships? Yes, sir. And there's more. They've found evidence of an abandoned alien outpost on Nova Terra. The Admiral's eyes narrowed. This complicates things. Inform Captain Phillips to proceed with caution. We don't know what we're dealing with. Meanwhile, in the depths of space, the Talaxian defense network stirred to life. Automated platforms dormant for millennia powered up their ancient systems. Their directive was clear: contain the emerging threat. Aboard the Prometheus, Russell and his crew approached the Proxima Centauri system. The ship's sensors picked up the strange energy readings, setting off a cascade of alarms. Captain, I'm detecting multiple objects ahead, Lieutenant Chen reported, her fingers flying over her console. They appear to be some kind of defense platforms. They're powering up. Russell leaned forward in his chair. Shields up. Inform the fleet to take defensive positions. Let's not fire unless fired upon. As the Earth fleet spread out, the alien platforms began to move, forming a blockade across their path. Russell opened a channel to the entire fleet. All ships, hold your positions. We're dealing with unknown technology here. Our mission is exploration and diplomacy, not conflict. Stay alert and await further instructions. The tension on the bridge was palpable as they faced this unexpected obstacle. Russell turned to his science officer, Dr. Alara Voss. What can you tell me about these platforms? Voss studied her readings intently. They appear to be incredibly old, sir. The technology is advanced, but there are signs of long-term dormancy. I'd estimate they've been here for thousands of years, possibly longer. Russell processed this information, his mind racing with possibilities. Could they be related to the outpost on Nova Terra? It's possible, Captain, Voss replied. We'll need to get closer to the planet to know for sure. As the standoff continued, Russell couldn't help but wonder about the implications of their discovery. Who had built these platforms? Why had they been abandoned? And most importantly, how would this affect humanity's first steps into the galactic community? The answers to these questions lay ahead, somewhere beyond the silent sentinels that barred their path. As Russell contemplated their next move, he knew that the decisions made here, in this distant star system, would shape the future of human-alien relations for generations to come. As the Prometheus and its fleet approached Nova Terra, the serene beauty of the alien world was shattered by a sudden burst of energy. Alarms blared across the bridge as Lieutenant Chen's voice cut through the chaos. "Captain, multiple contacts. The defense platforms are powering up their weapon systems." Russell's hands tightened on the armrests of his command chair. "Shields to maximum. All ships, defensive formations." The vacuum of space erupted in a dazzling display of destructive power as the Talaxian platforms unleashed a barrage of energy weapons. Brilliant beams of light sliced through the darkness, impacting the human ships with devastating force. "Shields holding at 80%, sir," reported the tactical officer, Marcus Miller. His fingers danced across his console as he analyzed the incoming data. "They're launching autonomous drones." Russell's mind raced, drawing on years of experience as he formulated a counter-strategy. "Activate the stealth coding, modulate our shields to absorb and redirect their energy weapons." As the order spread throughout the fleet, the human ships seemed to shimmer, their hulls becoming mirror-like surfaces that reflected the incoming fire. The effectiveness of the Talaxian weapons diminished, their destructive power dissipating against the adaptive defense. "Launch our defensive drones," Russell commanded. "Let's fight fire with fire." A swarm of sleek human-designed drones poured from the ship's launch bays, engaging their Talaxian counterparts in a frenzied dance of artificial intelligence and advanced algorithms. The space around Nova Terra became a battlefield of metal and light, with explosions blossoming like deadly flowers among the stars. As the battle raged, Marcus Miller's eyes widened with sudden realization. "Captain, I'm detecting a pattern in their communication network. There's a flaw in their encryption algorithm." Russell leaned forward, intrigued. "Can we exploit it?" Miller nodded enthusiastically. "I think so, sir. If we can introduce a cascading feedback loop into their network, we might be able to temporarily disable several platforms." "Do it," Russell ordered without hesitation. Miller's fingers flew across his console, implementing his improvised plan. Moments later, several Talaxian platforms flickered and went dark, creating a gap in their defensive line. Russell seized the opportunity. "All ships, form up on the Prometheus. We're punching through their defenses. Commander Hawkins, you have tactical control of our rearguard." As the bulk of the human fleet engaged the remaining Talaxian defenses, Russell led a smaller group of ships through the opening. The Prometheus shuddered as it pushed through the maelstrom of combat, emerging into the relative calm of Nova Terra's orbit. "Scan the planet's surface," Russell ordered. "Let's find out what secrets this world is hiding." The science officer, Dr. Alara Voss, reported almost immediately. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from the surface. They match the readings from the abandoned outpost we discovered earlier." Russell nodded, his decision made. "Prepare a landing party, we're going down there." Minutes later, Russell led a team of specialists to the planet's surface, leaving Commander Sarah Hawkins in charge of the orbital defense. Their shuttle touched down in a clearing surrounded by towering alien vegetation, the air thick with the scent of unknown flora. As they approached a weathered stone structure half buried in the landscape, the ground beneath their feet trembled. A hidden entrance revealed itself, inviting them into the depths of an ancient complex. The team descended into a vast underground facility, their helmet lights illuminating corridors lined with unfamiliar technology. Holographic interfaces sprang to life at their approach, reacting to their presence with a soft, pulsing glow. Dr. Voss examined one of the displays, her eyes wide with wonder. "Captain, this technology, it's far beyond even Talaxian capabilities. These beings called themselves the Precursors. According to this data, they seeded the galaxy with life and technology before vanishing eons ago." As they explored deeper into the facility, they came upon a central chamber dominated by a massive pulsing crystal. Russell approached it cautiously, feeling an inexplicable pull towards the ancient artifact. "Sir, I wouldn't," Dr. Voss began, but it was too late. As Russell's hand touched the crystal's surface, a surge of energy coursed through his body. The crystal flared to life, unleashing a pulse of unknown radiation that rippled outward, passing through the facility and beyond. In orbit, Commander Hawkins watched in awe as a wave of energy expanded from the planet's surface, washing over their ships and continuing outward into space. "What did they do down there?" she whispered. On Mars, Pollux's instruments went haywire as the pulse hit. Talaxian systems across the solar system flickered and faltered, their communications networks dissolving into static. Back on Earth, Admiral Miller Lee stood before a gathering of Earth's finest minds, preparing for their diplomatic mission to the Talaxian homeworld. Dr. Amelia Foster, a brilliant xenolinguist, and General Viktor Volkov, a seasoned military strategist, flanked him as he addressed the assembly. "Our mission is clear," Lee stated firmly. "We must secure Earth's position in the galactic community and explore potential alliances with other species who may chafe under Talaxian rule." As they boarded their diplomatic vessel, a priority transmission came through from Nova Terra. Lee's eyes widened as he read Russell's report on the precursor discovery and the energy pulse. "This changes everything," he murmured, turning to his team. "We now have a significant advantage in our negotiations." As Earth's diplomatic mission departed for Talaxian space, none of them realized the far-reaching consequences of their actions. Across the galaxy, advanced civilizations beyond the Talaxian sphere of influence detected the energy pulse from Nova Terra. Ancient defense systems awakened, and long-dormant fleets began to mobilize. In the vast tapestry of the cosmos, humanity had inadvertently tugged on a thread, setting in motion events that would reshape the very fabric of galactic society. As Russell and his team continued to unravel the mysteries of the precursor facility, and Admiral Lee's diplomatic mission ventured into the heart of Talaxian space, the stage was set for a conflict that would span the stars. The galaxy held its breath, poised on the brink of a new era, and at the center of it all stood humanity, no longer dismissible, no longer primitive, but a force that would shape the destiny of countless worlds. The energy pulse from Nova Terra rippled across the galaxy, its effects cascading through space like an invisible tsunami. On the bridge of the USS Prometheus, Captain Russell watched in awe as the Talaxian defense platforms surrounding Earth and nearby systems suddenly powered down, their threatening glow fading to darkness. "Status report," Russell demanded, his voice tight with anticipation. Lieutenant Chen's fingers flew across her console. "Sir, the Talaxian defenses are offline. We're detecting similar effects across multiple star systems." Russell's mind raced with the implications. This was an unprecedented opportunity, one they couldn't afford to waste. He opened a channel to the fleet. "All ships, this is Captain Russell. We're expanding our operational zone. Prometheus and escort vessels, prepare for immediate departure. We're going to secure key positions in neighboring systems." As the fleet mobilized, Russell turned to his science officer. "Dr. Voss, any theories on what we've unleashed?" Voss shook her head, her eyes still fixed on her readings. "It's beyond anything we've encountered, Captain. The pulse seems to have specifically targeted Talaxian technology. We've opened a window of opportunity, but I can't say how long it will last." Russell nodded grimly. "Then we'd better make the most of it." The Prometheus led the charge, its engines flaring as it pushed beyond the boundaries of Earth's solar system. For the first time in human history, a fleet of Earth ships ventured into interstellar space with purpose and power. Meanwhile, light years away, Admiral Miller Lee's diplomatic mission took an unexpected turn. As their ship approached Talaxian space, the sensor officer's voice cut through the tense silence on the bridge. "Admiral, we're detecting multiple contacts ahead. It's a massive fleet." Lee leaned forward, his eyes widening as he took in the sensor data. A vast armada of alien vessels filled the space before them, all converging on the Talaxian capital. The ships were of various designs and origins, representing a multitude of species. It seems we're not the only ones taking advantage of the Talaxians' sudden vulnerability, Lee mused. He turned to his team, Dr. Amelia Foster and General Victor Volkov. This changes everything. We need to reassess our approach. Foster's brow furrowed as she studied the communications data. The chatter between the ships is intense. Many of these species were subject races under Talaxian rule. They're seeing this as their chance for independence. Volkov's eyes gleamed with strategic insight. We could use this to our advantage, position ourselves as potential allies against Talaxian oppression. Lee nodded, his mind already formulating a new plan. Agreed. Hail the nearest non-Talaxian ship. Let's see if we can arrange a multi-species conference. It's time humanity made some friends in the galactic community. Back on Nova Terra, Russell's team pushed deeper into the precursor facility. The vast underground complex seemed to come alive around them, holographic interfaces springing to life as they passed. Dr. Voss approached a central console, her fingers dancing over alien symbols. Captain, I think I've found something. This appears to be a database of some kind. As she worked, streams of data filled the air around them. Russell's eyes widened as he recognized diagrams of advanced technologies, faster-than-light drives, energy manipulation systems, and what looked like planetary engineering schematics. My God, he breathed. Do you realize what this means? This could advance our technology by centuries, maybe millennia. Before Voss could respond, the chamber hummed with new energy. A massive hologram materialized in the center of the room, depicting a being unlike anything they had ever seen. Its form was vaguely humanoid, but composed of swirling energy patterns. The being spoke, its voice resonating not through the air, but directly in their minds. Greetings, children of Earth. You have passed the first test. Russell stepped forward, his heart pounding. Test? What test? The hologram's energy patterns shifted, forming something resembling a smile. This facility, and others like it, were created to evaluate emerging civilizations. Your ability to discover and activate this outpost demonstrates your readiness for the next stage of galactic citizenship. As the implications of the hologram's words sank in, alarms blared from their communication devices. Commander Sarah Hawkins' voice crackled through. Captain, we've got a situation up here. Multiple unidentified vessels have entered the system. Some appear friendly, others, not so much. Russell exchanged a glance with his team. The stakes had just gotten higher. Understood, Commander. Maintain defensive positions but avoid provocative actions. We're on our way up. As they prepared to leave the facility, Russell turned back to the hologram. We'll return to continue this discussion. There's so much more we need to know. The energy being nodded. We await your return, children of Earth. But be warned, the knowledge contained here is both a gift and a burden. How you use it will determine not only your fate, but that of countless others in the galaxy. With those ominous words echoing in their minds, Russell and his team rushed back to their shuttle. As they ascended through Nova Terra's atmosphere, the enormity of their discovery burdened immensely upon them. They had unlocked the door to humanity's future among the stars, but in doing so, they had also painted a target on Earth's back. The shuttle broke through the planet's upper atmosphere, revealing a scene of controlled chaos in orbit. The space around Nova Terra was filled with ships of various designs and sizes, some approaching cautiously, others maintaining a hostile stance. Commander Hawkins's voice came through clear as they approached the Prometheus. Captain, we've managed to establish communication with some of the alien vessels. A few are seeking alliance or trade opportunities, but others are demanding we hand over the precursor technology. Russell's fists tight as he surveyed the situation. Patch me through to all ships, ours and theirs. As the channel opened, he took a deep breath. This is Captain James Russell of the Earthship Prometheus. We come in peace and are open to dialogue with all species. However, we will defend ourselves and our discoveries if threatened. I propose a diplomatic conference to discuss our mutual interests in this system. As responses began to flood in, Russell knew that humanity's first true test on the galactic stage had begun. The choices they made here, in orbit around Nova Terra, would shape the future of Earth and its place in the cosmic order. Meanwhile, on the Talaxian homeworld, Pollux stood before the Galactic Empire's ruling council, facing a barrage of accusations and demands for explanations. The council chamber, usually a place of ordered debate, had devolved into near chaos. "How could you have missed the humans' technological advancements?" one counselor bellowed. "An entire hidden fleet, right under our noses." Another added, "And now this pulse has weakened our hold on half the galaxy. We must strike back immediately, crush this human threat before it grows further." Pollux raised his hands, trying to calm the agitated council. "Honored members, I urge caution. The situation is complex. A direct military response could unite other species against us. We must approach this strategically." As the debate raged on, a new signal chimed, cutting through the din. The council fell silent as a holographic figure materialized in the center of the chamber. The being was unlike any they had encountered before, its form shifting and undulating with hardly restrained energy. "Greetings, Talaxian Empire," the being said, its voice resonating with power. "I am Zarloth, emissary of the Zarkoth. We have observed recent events with great interest." Pollux stepped forward, his antennae twitching with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. "Zarkoth? We have no record of your species." The hologram seemed to smile, though it was hard to tell with its ever-shifting form. "We have long watched from the shadows. We are descendants of those you call precursors. The humans' awakening of the Novaterra outpost has drawn us out. We wish to establish communication with both your empire and the humans." The council chamber erupted in murmurs and exclamations. Pollux's mind raced with the implications. The emergence of the Zarkoth added yet another layer of complexity to an already volatile situation. As the Zarkoth emissary continued to speak, outlining their desire for a three-way negotiation, Pollux couldn't help but wonder about their true motives. Were they here to help maintain galactic stability, or did they have their own agenda? The galaxy was changing rapidly, power structures shifting like sand in a storm. Humanity, once dismissed as primitives, now stood at the center of a cosmic drama. The Talaxian Empire, long unchallenged, faced threats from within and without. And the Zarkoth, these mysterious descendants of the precursors, had emerged from obscurity with unknown intentions. As Pollux listened to the ongoing discussions, he realized that the next few cycles would be crucial. The decisions made here, on the Talaxian homeworld, in the Proxima Centauri system, and on distant Earth, would shape the future of the galaxy for eons to come. The great game of cosmic politics had begun, and the first moves were already in play. Motion. The galactic chessboard had been upended, and the pieces were now in free fall. On the bridge of the Prometheus, Captain Russell's comlink chimed urgently. "Captain, this is General Blackwood. We need you back on Earth immediately. The situation has escalated beyond our initial projections." Russell exchanged glances with his team. "Understood, General. We're on our way." As the Prometheus set course for Earth, Russell couldn't shake the feeling that they were leaving Novaterra vulnerable. He turned to Dr. Voss. "Doctor, I want you to stay behind with a team. Continue studying the precursor facility. We can't afford to lose our foothold here." Voss nodded, her eyes gleaming with the prospect of unraveling more alien mysteries. "I won't let you down, Captain." The journey back to Earth was tense, filled with encrypted transmissions and strategic planning. When they finally arrived, Russell was whisked away to UNSC headquarters, where he found himself face-to-face with General Marcus Blackwood and a room full of Earth's top military and scientific minds. Blackwood's face was grim as he addressed the assembly. "Ladies and gentlemen, we stand at a crossroads. Our actions in the coming days will determine humanity's place in the galaxy for generations to come." He gestured to a holographic display of local space, dotted with pulsing lights representing various alien factions. "We've received word from Admiral Lee's diplomatic mission. They've made contact with a coalition of species oppressed by the Talaxian Empire. Led by a Zentari named Kelthor, they're offering us an alliance." The room erupted in murmurs. Russell leaned forward, his mind racing with the implications. An alliance could provide much-needed support, but it could also drag Earth into conflicts beyond their control. As if reading his thoughts, Blackwood continued. We're also facing a more immediate threat. Our intelligence suggests that a hardline faction has seized control of the Talaxian government. They're mobilizing for a full-scale assault on Earth and our allies. The holographic display shifted, showing the movement of Talaxian fleets. Russell's stomach tightened at the sight of the massive armada heading their way. Fortunately, Blackwood said, his voice cutting through the tension, we've made some advancements of our own. He nodded to a woman standing near the back of the room. Dr. Rodriguez, if you would. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stepped forward, her eyes bright with excitement despite the grave situation. We've successfully reverse-engineered key components of Talaxian propulsion technology. Our ships can now travel at speeds we once thought impossible. She manipulated the holographic display, showing the projected range of Earth's fleet with the new drives. The room filled with gasps and murmurs of approval. Blackwood's voice rose above the noise. This advancement allows us to implement Operation Stardust. We'll be establishing a network of fortified outposts throughout nearby sectors, creating a defensive perimeter and expanding our sphere of influence. As the general outlined the details of the operation, Russell's comlink vibrated. It was a message from Dr. Voss on Nova Terra. His eyes widened as he read it. General, Russell interrupted, his voice urgent. We've made another discovery on Nova Terra. Dr. Voss has activated some kind of planetary defense system. A shield now surrounds the entire planet, protecting our teams and the precursor facility. Blackwood's eyebrows shot up. That could be a game changer. We need to replicate that technology across our new outposts. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. A young officer burst into the room, his face pale. Sir, we're detecting a massive energy surge in the Sirius system. A Talaxian battle group has engaged our forces there. The room erupted into controlled chaos as officers rushed to their stations. Blackwood's voice cut through the commotion. This is it, people. The first major battle of this conflict. Russell, get back to the Prometheus. You're needed out there. As Russell sprinted towards the hangar, his mind raced. The fate of Earth, of humanity itself, hung in the balance. The lessons they'd learned, the technology they'd acquired, it all came down to this moment. The Prometheus roared to life, its new engines humming with awe-inspiring power. As they broke atmosphere, Russell saw dozens of other ships joining formation around them. Earth's fleet, once a mere defense force, had become an armada ready to claim its place among the stars. As they set course for Sirius, Russell received another transmission. This one was from Nova Terra, but it wasn't Dr. Voss. The voice that came through was unlike anything he'd ever heard, resonating with an otherworldly power. Captain Russell, the voice said, I am High Archon Zalvex of the Zarkoth. We have arrived at Nova Terra and request an immediate meeting. There is much you need to know about the powers you have awakened. Russell's mind reeled. The Zarkoth, descendants of the precursors themselves, had arrived, but he couldn't turn back now, not with the battle at Sirius looming. Understood, High Archon, he replied. I'm sending coordinates for a secure rendezvous point. My second-in-command will meet you there. As he closed the channel, Russell stared out at the star-streaked vista of faster-than-light travel. They were hurtling towards a battle that would shape the future of the galaxy, with allies and enemies he couldn't have imagined mere weeks ago. And somewhere out there, the mysterious Nexus key awaited discovery. Russell had seen the reports, knew of its power to control the network of precursor outposts. He also knew that every faction in this new galactic conflict would be racing to find it. As the Sirius system loomed ahead, teeming with the flashes of weapon fire and the sleek forms of battling ships, Russell steeled himself. Humanity had been thrust onto the galactic stage, and their performance in this cosmic theater would echo through the ages. The Prometheus dropped out of FTL, joining the fray alongside its human and Zentari allies. The battle for Sirius and for humanity's future among the stars had begun. The Prometheus's shields flared as enemy fire peppered its hull, the battle for Sirius raging around them. Russell gripped his command chair, barking orders to his crew as they maneuvered through the chaos. Evasive pattern Delta. Weapons target that Talaxian cruiser's engines. The ship shuddered as it unleashed a barrage of energy weapons, slicing through the enemy vessel's defenses. As the Talaxian ship listed venting atmosphere, Russell's comm link chimed urgently. "Captain, priority message from Earth," his communications officer reported. Russell's brow furrowed. "Patch it through." General Blackwood's hologram materialized on the bridge, his expression grim. "Russell, I'm pulling you out of Sirius. We have a new mission of utmost importance." "Sir, we're in the middle of a battle." "This takes precedence." Blackwood cut him off. "Return to Earth immediately for briefing on Operation Nexus Hunt." The transmission cut out, leaving Russell stunned. He turned to his second-in-command. "Commander Hawkins, you have the bridge. Get us out of here." Hours later, Russell found himself back in UNSC headquarters, facing a room full of Earth's top brass. General Blackwood wasted no time getting to the point. "What, we've uncovered information about a precursor artifact called the Nexus Key," he explained, bringing up a holographic display. "It's not just powerful, it's the key to controlling all precursor technology in the galaxy." Russell's eyes widened. "And you want us to find it?" Blackwood nodded. "Before anyone else does, you'll lead a covert team. We're calling it Operation Nexus Hunt." As Blackwood outlined the mission parameters, Russell studied the faces of his new team. Commander Sarah Hawkins, his trusted second-in-command. Marcus Miller, the sharp-eyed tactical officer who'd previously identified Talaxian vulnerabilities. Both wore expressions of purpose tinged with apprehension. "Well, you'll be using our new propulsion system," Dr. Elena Rodriguez chimed in, her eyes gleaming with pride. "It should give you a significant advantage in speed." As the briefing concluded, Russell felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. The fate of humanity might well rest on the success of this mission. Back aboard the Prometheus, now refitted with cutting-edge technology, Russell addressed his team. "I won't sugarcoat it. This mission is dangerous and the stakes couldn't be higher, but I've served with each of you, and I know we're up to the task." They launched under the cover of darkness, the Prometheus's new engines humming with scarcely controlled power. As they cleared the solar system, Russell received a transmission from Admiral Lee. "Captain, I have good news," Lee's hologram announced. "We've formalized an alliance with several species oppressed by the Talaxian Empire. We're calling it the Galactic Concordat." Russell nodded, a glimmer of hope kindling in his chest. "That could turn the tide in our favor?" "Indeed. The Zentari, led by Kael Thor, have been particularly supportive. They're providing advanced weaponry and intelligence." As Lee's hologram faded, Russell turned his attention to the mission at hand. They had a lead on the Nexus Key's location, an uncharted star system on the fringes of known space. Days of faster-than-light travel passed in tense anticipation. Finally, sensors pinged announcing their arrival. Before them loomed a massive asteroid, housing what appeared to be an ancient space station. "That has to be it," Russell breathed. Suddenly, alarms blared. "Multiple ships detected," Marcus called out. "Talaxian, Zarkoth, and unknown configurations, sir." Russell's face hardened. "Looks like we're not the only ones after the prize. Commander Hawkins, prepare for combat. Miller, you're with me. We're going in." As the Prometheus engaged the converging enemy ships, Russell led a small team to infiltrate the station. They docked in a hidden bay, the sounds of battle muffled by the station's ancient walls. Inside, they faced a gauntlet of security measures unlike anything they'd encountered. Holographic guardians materialized, subjecting them to cryptic tests of worth. Russell and his team pushed through, their minds and bodies strained to the limit. Finally, they reached the heart of the station. A pulsing energy field filled the chamber, and within it, a shimmering interface unlike any computer they'd seen. "This is it," Russell murmured, "the Nexus Key." But as they approached, the true nature of the artifact became clear. It wasn't a physical key at all, but a code, one designed to be implanted directly into a sentient mind. Whoever takes this on will have control over all precursor technology in the galaxy, Miller said, his voice hushed with awe and fear. Before Russell could respond, the station shook violently. Hawkins's voice crackled over the comm. Captain, we've got a problem. A massive Talaxian battle station just dropped out of FTL. They're charging some kind of superweapon. Russell's mind raced. There was no time for debate, no time for second-guessing. He stepped toward the interface. I'll do it. I'll take the key. Captain, the risks, Miller started to protest. Are necessary, Russell finished. He locked eyes with his team. Whatever happens, get back to the ship. That's an order. As Russell stepped into the energy field, he felt the weight of history pressing down on him. The fate of humanity, of the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. The Nexus key began to interface with his mind, floods of information cascading through his consciousness. Outside, the massive Talaxian battle station, the Starbreaker, loomed ominously. Its weapon ports glowed with building energy, preparing to unleash devastation on a cosmic scale. Inside Russell's mind, the Nexus key continued its work, reshaping his understanding of the universe. As the Starbreaker prepared to fire, the stage was set for a confrontation that would echo across the stars for millennia to come. In that instant, as the Nexus key merged with his consciousness, Russell felt the universe unfold before him. A cacophony of sensations flooded his mind. The birth of stars, the intricate dance of subatomic particles, the vast network of precursor technology spanning the galaxy. It was overwhelming, beautiful, and terrifying all at once. Outside the station, the battle raged. The massive Talaxian battle station, Starbreaker, loomed like a malevolent star. Its weapon ports pulsed with building energy, preparing to unleash devastation. Commander Sarah Hawkins's voice crackled over the comm, urgent and strained. Captain, the Starbreaker is powering up its main weapon. We can't withstand a direct hit. Russell, his mind still reeling from the influx of information, forced himself to focus. He reached out with his newfound awareness, feeling the intricate web of precursor technology surrounding them. Commander, he said, his voice steady despite the chaos in his mind, coordinate with our allies. Combine your shield technologies. Create a layered defense around the station. Hawkins didn't hesitate. Understood, sir. Russell watched through the station's sensors as the Prometheus maneuvered into position. Other ships, humans, Centauri, and their new allies, fell into formation. Energy fields shimmered and merged, forming a multi-layered barrier around the ancient facility. The Starbreaker fired. A lance of pure energy, bright enough to rival a sun, lashed out across space. It struck the combined shields, and for a moment, Russell feared it wouldn't be enough. The barrier flared, fluctuated, but held. Inside the station, Russell grappled with the vast knowledge pouring into his mind. He saw the locations of precursor outposts scattered across the galaxy, understood their purposes, their potential, and he knew what he had to do. With a thought, he activated dormant defense systems throughout nearby star systems. On dozens of worlds, including Earth, massive energy shields sprang to life, enveloping entire planets in protective bubbles. But he didn't stop there. Reaching deeper into the precursor systems, Russell found what he was looking for, a way to fight back. A pulse of energy, invisible but immensely powerful, radiated out from the station. It washed over the Starbreaker and the surrounding Talaxian fleet. Ships went dark, weapon systems failed, and engines sputtered and died. Now, Russell commanded through the comm, all ships engage the Talaxian fleet. The human-led coalition surged forward. Plasma torpedoes and energy beams lanced out, striking the disabled Talaxian ships. Explosions blossomed in the void as vessel after vessel succumbed to the assault. On the bridge of the Starbreaker, Supreme Commander Vexthar watched in disbelief as his mighty fleet crumbled before the human counterattack. His mandibles clicked in agitation as he turned to his second-in-command. "Order a full retreat," he growled. "We cannot win this battle today." As the Talaxian fleet limped away, Russell emerged from the heart of the station. His eyes glowed faintly with the power of the Nexus key, his movements sure and purposeful. "Captain," Marcus Miller approached him, concern evident in his voice. "Are you all right?" Russell nodded, his gaze distant. "I'm fine, Marcus. Better than fine. I understand now, everything." Back aboard the Prometheus, Russell convened with his senior staff and representatives from their allied ships. The mood was one of cautious celebration tinged with awe at what they had witnessed. "The Talaxians are in full retreat," Commander Hawkins reported. "We've secured the station and the surrounding space." Russell nodded, his mind already racing ahead. "This is just the beginning. We need to capitalize on this victory quickly." As if on cue, a transmission came through from Admiral Lee's nearby command ship. The Admiral's hologram materialized, his expression a mix of pride and purpose. "Excellent work, Captain," Lee said. "I'm already reaching out to neutral species and former Talaxian subjects. We're offering protection and alliance under our new precursor-derived defenses." Russell felt a surge of approval through the Nexus key. This was the right path, unity in the face of greater threats. "Admiral," Russell said, "I recommend we implement an expanded version of Operation Stardust immediately. We can use the activated precursor technologies to protect key strategic locations throughout the galaxy." Lee's eyebrows rose. "Ambitious, but with our new capabilities, it just might work. I'll contact General Blackwood and set things in motion." As the hologram faded, Russell turned to his team. "Prepare for rapid deployment. We're about to expand Earth's influence on an unprecedented scale." The next few days passed in a blur of activity. Human and allied ships fanned out across the galaxy, establishing footholds in strategic systems. Precursor defense systems activated at their approach, providing instant protection against potential Talaxian reprisals. Earth's sphere of influence grew exponentially, transforming humanity from a fledgling spacefaring race to a major galactic power almost overnight. But amid the victories, new challenges arose. A massive Zarkoth fleet arrived in the Sol system, taking up positions near Earth and other human-controlled worlds. Their leader, High Archon Zalvex, demanded access to the Nexus key and precursor technologies. As descendants of the precursors, Zalvex's imperious voice boomed through diplomatic channels. "It is our right to control this power. Relinquish it to us or face the consequences." The standoff created a tense atmosphere throughout human space. But even as Earth's leaders grappled with this new threat, Russell made a disturbing discovery within the precursor database. Hidden deep within the ancient records was information about a threat so great it had caused the precursors themselves to disappear. A threat that had been dormant for millennia, but was now showing signs of stirring. As Russell absorbed this knowledge, he realized that the squabbles between humans, Talaxians, and Zarkoth were insignificant compared to what was coming. They needed to unite the galaxy, to prepare for an enemy beyond anything they had faced before. On Earth, Dr. Elena Rodriguez and her team worked tirelessly, integrating precursor technologies into human systems. New weapons, faster-than-light drives, and advanced AI systems emerged from their labs, rapidly closing the technological gap between humans and the most advanced species in the galaxy. As news of Earth's victory spread, refugees from Talaxian-oppressed worlds began pouring into human-protected systems. The influx created logistical challenges, but also brought diverse knowledge and skills that would prove invaluable in the coming days. Reports came in of growing unrest within the Talaxian Empire. Supreme Commander Vexathar faced challenges to his rule as several colonies declared independence, inspired by Earth's example. Russell stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, gazing out at the star-filled void. The weight of the star system's fate rested on his shoulders, the knowledge of the coming threat a constant presence in his mind. He knew that the victories they had achieved were just the beginning. The true test, the fight for the very survival of all sentient life, was yet to come. Russell Phillips stood at the viewport of the Prometheus, his eyes fixed on the vast expanse of space before him. The weight of the Nexus key's knowledge pressed against his mind, a constant reminder of the responsibility he now carried. Captain, Commander Sarah Hawkins approached, her voice pulling him from his thoughts. We've received word from Earth. Admiral Lee requests your presence for an urgent matter. Russell nodded, turning from the viewport. Set course for Nova Terra, Commander. Maximum speed. As the Prometheus streaked through space, Russell reviewed the information flowing through his enhanced consciousness. The threat that had forced the precursors into hiding was stirring, and humanity's newfound power was a fragile shield against the coming storm. Upon reaching Nova Terra, Russell was immediately ushered into a secure briefing room. Admiral Lee, his face etched with concern, greeted him. Captain Phillips, we need to act fast, Lee said without preamble. Our intelligence suggests that both the Talaxians and Zarkoth are mobilizing. They're wary of our sudden rise to power. Russell processed this information, combining it with the insights from the Nexus key. We need to bring them to the table, Admiral. All of them. Lee's eyebrows rose. A galactic summit? That's ambitious, even for us. It's necessary, Russell replied, his voice firm. I'll use the Nexus key to show them what we're truly up against. Once they understand the threat, they'll see the need for unity. Over the next few days, invitations were sent to every known spacefaring civilization. The response was mixed. Curiosity mingled with suspicion and outright hostility. But as ships from across the galaxy began to arrive at Nova Terra, a sense of anticipation filled the air. The summit convened in a massive amphitheater, hastily constructed to accommodate the diverse needs of the attendees. Zarkoth delegates floated in anti-gravity chambers, while Talaxian representatives clicked and buzzed in translation booths. Russell took the stage, feeling the weight of countless eyes upon him. He activated the Nexus Key's interface, and suddenly, the room was filled with a vivid, holographic representation of the galaxy. Esteemed delegates, he began, his voice echoing through the chamber. What you're about to see is the reason we've called you here today. The hologram shifted, showing a dark force creeping at the edges of the galaxy. Tendrils of void reached out, consuming stars and leaving only emptiness in their wake. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the audience. This is the threat that once drove the precursors into hiding, Russell continued, and now it's awakening once more. As the full scope of the danger became clear, even the most antagonistic delegates fell silent. Russell could see the shock and fear in their eyes, transcending species and old grudges. Taking advantage of the moment, Admiral Lee stepped forward. In light of this threat, we propose the formation of a galactic defense coalition. Earth, with its control of precursor technology, would serve as the central coordinator. The proposal was met with a flurry of questions and concerns. Negotiations stretched on for days, with heated debates and tense standoffs. But slowly, progress was made. A pivotal moment came when a moderate faction of Talaxians, having overthrown Supreme Commander Vexthar, agreed to join the coalition. Their decision swayed many of the undecided delegates. As the summit drew to a close, Dr. Elena Rodriguez unveiled her most ambitious project yet. A hologram of a massive space station appeared above the amphitheater. This is the Unity Hub, she announced, her voice filled with pride. A precursor-inspired station that will serve as the headquarters for our Galactic Defense Coalition. It will be a symbol of our cooperation and a fortress against the coming threat. The announcement was met with applause and excitement. As the delegates departed, there was a newfound sense of purpose and unity among them. With the coalition taking shape, Russell turned his attention to investigating the source of the ancient threat. Using the Nexus key, he activated a network of long-dormant precursor sensors scattered throughout the galaxy. Data streamed into his mind, coalescing into a clear picture. It's coming from outside our galaxy, he reported to Admiral Lee and Dr. Rodriguez. We need to prepare for an intergalactic mission. The coalition pooled its resources, drawing on the combined knowledge and technologies of all member species. A fleet of advanced ships, capable of intergalactic travel, began to take shape in orbital shipyards across the galaxy. As preparations neared completion, the ancient threat made its first move. A probe of unknown design appeared at the edge of the Milky Way, emitting a signal that caused widespread technological disruptions. Russell felt the disturbance through the Nexus key. Without hesitation, he reached out with his mind, activating a galaxy-wide defense network. Energy fields sprang to life, barely containing the probe's influence. In the aftermath of this close call, Russell made a difficult decision. He gathered a council of representatives from various species: humans, Talaxians, Centauri, and even the Zarkoth. The power of the Nexus key is too great for one individual to wield, he explained. I'm going to distribute its power among this council. We'll face this threat together, as equals. The process was intricate and dangerous, but as the power of the Nexus key spread among the council members, a new level of trust and cooperation blossomed. With time running out, the intergalactic fleet prepared for departure. The USS Prometheus, now under the joint command of Russell and Commander Sarah Hawkins, led the massive armada. As they prepared to leave the Milky Way, Russell used the last of his individual connection to the Nexus key to activate a vast network of precursor gates. A transit system sparked to life, connecting their home galaxy to the frontier of the unknown. On Earth, humanity watched with a mixture of pride and trepidation as their representatives ventured into the cosmic unknown. General Marcus Blackwood oversaw the continued integration of Earth's military forces with those of their alien allies, creating a formidable defense force unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The intergalactic fleet hovered at the edge of the Milky Way, poised to embark on their unprecedented journey. Russell stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, looking out at the assembled ships, a testament to what could be achieved through unity. "All ships report ready, Captain," Commander Hawkins announced, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. Russell nodded, his gaze fixed on the star-filled void ahead. "Send the signal. It's time to secure the future of not just Earth, but all sentient life." As the fleet engaged their drives, disappearing into the depths of intergalactic space, the Unity hub buzzed with activity. Humans worked alongside former enemies and new allies, their combined efforts focused on strengthening the galaxy's defenses and pushing the boundaries of scientific understanding. Through a massive viewport, the image of Earth hung in space, a blue jewel against the cosmic tapestry. It served as a powerful reminder of how far humanity had come and the challenges they had yet to face. The intergalactic mission had begun, but the true test, the fight for the very survival of all sentient life, still lay ahead.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.